Aquaus.
Yo, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Doing well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good, 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 good. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. It looks like everyone is tuning in. I want to welcome you all to the third and final episode of Writing a Love Song. And this is the episode where I have the pleasure of talking with Mr. Aquaus Kelley, also known as simply Aquaus. And today we are talking about how to learn from life's lessons to improve your creativity. So if you are a songwriter, if you're a poet, if you are an overall creative person, if you're an educator, all of you use creativity to make the world better in your various skill sets. But I wanted to use my song, my new single, Love is Love, which is my new love song that I released back in Christmas that highlights my life journey of self-discovery and how that has made me a better songwriter. And this series is the seedbed of conversation around similar subject matters. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guest today, Aquaus. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. For the most part, I'm an educator, currently in my 6th year. Shout out to everyone who's dropping by to show love. I have some of my students in here actually. Daniel from last year, Isabella, one of my students this year. Shout out to Sean, Corey, and Isaiah, who was one of my students when I was a City Year Corps member in Miami. So a lot of my life energy now is centered around education for the most part, to keep it simple. As anyone can read in my bio, my background is relative to communication, entertainment, media. A passion of mine outside of education, even within education, is building. I've always been passionate about building, so building brands, visions, things of that nature, and empowering communities, uplifting humanity. That's my pitch. That's my positioning. So that's pretty much what I do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your presence, Aquaus. I want to encourage everyone to please go ahead and follow Aquaus. Aquaus, like he said, he's an educator. His field is math and science, which of course is a field that engages creativity, because you have to be creativity to keep people engaged in those really challenging subject matters.
Absolutely.
You as a educator, obviously you engage creativity to help sharpen minds, especially in mathematics and science.
Yeah.
You're also the host of Community Voices Live.
Yeah.
You're also a
co-host.
A co-host.
Yeah.
A co-host. So I want to also encourage people to follow that discussion series as well, Community Voices Live. The episodes are on Spotify. So you can listen in on those as well. He is a very brilliant mind, has a lot of wisdom to impart, whether if you're in education or if you're just a learner of life. I've been following Aquaus for a while, and he's a very, very wise and noble person from my perspective as a follower on Instagram.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So thank you again for your presence here, brother.
Appreciate it. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. So I wanted to just start off the conversation, just asking you some questions to kind of get your wisdom, especially regarding subject matters that Love is Love, which is available on all streaming platforms and on YouTube. Yeah. But subject matters that Love is Love kind of taps into.
Okay.
So songwriters, we use words like building blocks to build with. Even in your field, which is math and science education, words are powerful, very powerful tools, as we can tell by your brand. How has the power of words been instrumental in your work as an educator?
So the power of words is instrumental in my life, not just my work. Not many people know this. I don't share this much, but I'll share it here because it fits the context. Like I spent a good number of years writing songs. My father's a songwriter. So when I graduated high school in 2005, me and one of my production partners from 2005, I would say about till 2011 or so, prior to me moving to Miami for a year, like we put in a lot of work in the studio. So I have songs that I've written myself. I know what that process is like. I know the creative energy that goes into that. So I mean, words are everything. How we, yeah, play your part. That's one of the songs that I wrote back in 2009. So language, vocabulary, word choice, everything that we say is a message, an expression, and how we choose those words makes the difference between someone getting it and not getting it, understanding it and not understanding it, resonating with it and not resonating with it. So that's the importance of words for me in general. As an educator, there's vocabulary such as partition, illumination, how the sun illuminates the moon when we're talking about moon phases. So we could get into the technicalities of that, and it helps to expose students, young minds, even older minds, to the variable and variety of words that may have similar meanings, right? So synonyms, antonyms, these are all things that I'm big on. And I shared this with my class the other day. I use a thesaurus more than I use a dictionary because I have an understanding of general words. But if we really want to spice things up and connect what we know with other words that have a similar meaning, but we just are not exposed to, I feel that's one of the best and quickest ways to do so. So that's the role that language plays, words play in my life.
You said a pretty, well, not pretty, a very monumental thing because I find myself using a thesaurus a lot too.
Yeah.
Um, and it's amazing how it will expand not just your vocabulary, but it will expand the way you articulate yourself. You can even tap into different aspects of yourself because your mind has kind of reached out and expanded into different ways and different words to express
Yes.
yourself. You may
Yes.
not know that. Like I was listening to a podcast. No, not a podcast. A book, an audio book.
Okay.
And the word inundated.
Yeah.
And that just means to be bombarded. And so because I had to look at that word, it made me reflect on the different ways that I'm inundated with stimuli and different things in life. And the point that the author was making is that, like how you were saying, sometimes we can overly inundate someone with information
Yeah.
to where that they don't receive it.
Yeah.
But it's like how you said, language sometimes being overly being simplifying things can help make the comment clearer for people.
Yes.
And it was the way that he reiterated that concept with a new word that made me think about it even deeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's powerful. How we can the usage of words and using more than one brick, not just the same brick, but more than one brick to build with, can really help us to help others expand their minds.
Yeah, definitely.
But I wanted to ask you too. So in your interview with Mr. with Dr. Steve Adebato.
Yes, you got
Adebato,
it.
am I
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
He's a fellow educator. You talked about how in your first 2 years of being an educator, you learned to fall in love with the challenge
Yeah.
that education offered. Can you talk about how this learning process shaped your passion for inspiring students?
Sure. My first 2 years was the challenge. My third year and fourth year, that's when I learned to fall in love with the challenge. And like COVID was played such an instrumental role in me having you mentioned inundated, right? Me having the time and space through the COVID virtual instruction to kind of sit back and reflect and see how I can refine my practice as an educator to make things better for my students, because I had a sense of awareness that instruction and curriculum, things just weren't assessment, things just weren't as aligned as I knew in my heart they could be. But that takes time. So I dedicated the time to learn myself, right? Learn what I should be doing as an educator, sharpen my sword and realign, create lessons, redesign lessons so that I can deliver instruction in a more meaningful way, so that I can support my students in more meaningful ways, developing a system of parent communication and putting grades into the grade book so that my students can see how they're performing over time. Like, these are all practices that take time and awareness and being in the trenches and just seeing what works, what doesn't work. How can I do this better? How can we do this better as a community? What can I be doing better? What can you be doing better? Accountability, all of these things, all of these things. So, I mean, that's what I fell in love with, is that process of designing and building. And it goes back to what I said earlier, building brands, right? Building upon a vision that we have in our head. Like, that's what I enjoy the most, is someone has an idea, let's execute, let's find a way to execute, let's design, let's build, and just be the architects of whatever we want to see come to life.
So what I hear you saying is, as your first 2 years inundated you with challenges,
Yes.
you learned how to take those to be more intentional and hold yourself accountable. To make the learning process more streamlined. For your students.
Absolutely.
I think it takes a level of brilliance and coachability. I made up a word at that moment.
I've heard that word before, so it's there now.
Yeah.
It's
you have to be coachable to life. And I know firsthand how some experiences they put you kind of like at a crossroads where you can choose to move forward and be coachable, or you can make the choice and just say, this isn't for me. I'm out.
Deuces.
Deuces. I'm done. I'm done with the whole thing. But you made a different choice. And that kind of even goes back to like what I talk about in the song Love is Love, how the process, so me as being a queer Black man, the process of finding love has been a process that has been shaped by the intersection of challenges. So challenges from my own people. How hard we are on ourselves as Black men and this thing called masculinity. And also from society, from being a Black man, period. So those challenges make the process of self-love and loving others very tricky. And I made a choice to either, kind of say deuces to love and, just saying life isn't for me. Some people have made that choice, because it's a difficult choice to kind of just say, life isn't for me. And that's a whole conversation in and of itself. But or make the choice to say, life is for me, and I can control. I can make different choices. I can choose love or love others in ways that I felt that I didn't receive the love. But I think in a similar way, I take my hat off to you for making that similar choice in your career, for choosing to stay the course. Even though that I know that journey as an educator. I remember when I was in college, I wanted to be a music educator.
Okay.
But I got to church and started directing the choir. And then I learned, let me just focus on the music. Let me just focus on the music. So I have a lot of respect for you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I wanted to also ask you, so In Love is Love, my song, I hint on my life journey of learning and self-discovery. With the lyrics, I thought true love was a fallacy, but your love healed my insecurity. Similarly, in your conversation with Martin Sories, you profoundly stated, we have to slowly realize that we are what we are capable of. Can you please expound upon that learning process?
Yeah, I mean, that quote is extracted from really redefining success. I remember thinking about just success, our definition of success, however we define success. It's a constant redefinition through slowly realizing what we're capable of, because success is fleeting. Success today may not be success tomorrow. Our goal today may not be our goal tomorrow. What happens once we hit that success, once we hit that goal, we have to realize slowly, what we're capable of now. So similar to just setting benchmarks. Okay, I did this, I can do this, I want to do this. So it's really a progression in regards to whatever it is, we envision. That can be love, right? Literal, intimate. That can be career. It can be personal, familial. So it all depends on what it is we're looking to achieve. Yeah, constantly becoming. Exactly. Yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it chorus?
It's Corey.
Corey. Okay. So thank you for that comment, Corey. You said success is about constantly becoming. That's pretty heavy. Aquaus, what does that say to you? Like, what is that? What is Corey's thought? How does that resonate with you?
It makes me think of a saying that I believe I remember I first heard when I was in college going to Rutgers. A true test of our ability to learn is our willingness to unlearn what it is we thought we already knew. So it's constantly looking for more information. And like a scientist, understanding that what I'm saying today is only based on the information I have today. So as I gather new information and new insight, my statements are subject to change, right? Sometimes we put people in boxes, and we see this with cancel culture. We put people in boxes. Oh, you went back on your word. You said this, but like our word is subject to change. It's like our word changes based on what we learn and what we experience, right? Our word, it's okay for our word to change. It's okay. It's okay, right?
So I think I was just talking to someone, a friend of mine, with those, highlighting those two simple words, it's okay. And that's sometimes the only thing that we can tell ourselves, that we that keeps us going, is that it's okay. We don't always have an explanation. Sometimes I try to figure things out. I try to tell myself, well, I didn't do this, or why didn't I do this, or why didn't this happen?
Yeah.
And sometimes all I have is it's okay. I have to keep going.
Yeah.
So those two simple words, I remember one of your quotes, you were talking about make things simple, use simple language. But those two simple words, they communicate to me so poignantly. It's okay.
Yeah.
So what's true today may not be true tomorrow. That is so true, Corey. That is so true.
Yeah.
Like, our knowledge is relative. Like, what is true is relative. And that's one thing I talk about in Love is Love is truth. So what truth is for one person, their truth, it may not be truth or the experience for someone else. And it may be a different experience for you tomorrow.
Yep.
So I totally agree. That's a very powerful statement, Corey. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so I wanted to also ask you, how does learning our capabilities improve our lives? So we know that learning our capabilities, it may make us better in that area. It may make us a better photographer to learn, oh, I have this ability to, to see people differently. So I want to go into photography.
Yeah.
But how does that actually improve our life as a human being to know our capabilities?
I believe it instills confidence. Like every time we level up new capabilities, we are instilling confidence. And that impacts self-esteem, right? That's a lot. That's how we walk throughout the earth and interact with others. Like to have a sense of esteem, right? A sense of belief in ourselves based on maybe just doing something small or something we think is small, but it's not really that small because it impacts other facets of our life. So that for me is why it's so important, is just instilling that confidence and helping to build our esteem and belief in self. As a teacher, as an educator, working with young people, and even just navigating throughout the world, I often see that people aren't as confident as maybe they should be. And we have to have conversations like, listen, again, it's okay that you may not do this as well as you might like to, but look at this area of your life and look at this. And it helps us to re-examine what it is we do well and what we work so hard to do and become. So just, I would say that esteem is probably the most important part, because we know what happens when we lack that esteem. We see it every day, right? We see the violence, we see the shootings, we see the crime, we see the abuse. I believe that's from a lack of esteem.
That's so true. What you stated is literally kind of the lifeblood of my song Love is Love, because for most of my life I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the self-esteem to dare to have the audacity to write about my truth.
Yeah.
Put music to it. Go in the studio and record to it.
Yeah.
Release it. Perform it in public. I didn't have the confidence in my truth to really do that. And that confidence in who I am has unlocked this realm of creativity. I hear music differently. When I hear people talk about their truth, it sounds like music to me.
Yeah.
It's not just, just people talking about truth. The importance of connecting with truth and having confidence. It's musical to me now.
Yeah.
So it has unlocked my capability. They work hand in hand for me. Realizing my capability of music unlocks a confidence, and the confidence that it unlocked more musical ability. So
Yeah.
they work hand in hand. I'm a living testimony to, I'm going to say, the prophetic nature of
Okay.
what you just said, how divine what you just said is. Can
Yeah.
you tell us
Reciprocity.
maybe a little bit personally about maybe an experience that you've had that you realized the capability and how that's made you more confident?
I mean, the most immediate thing for me is, of course, my role as an educator, right? Just realizing, I would say, how capable I am of helping to shape a young mind from not understanding a concept to understanding a concept. This may be within an 80-minute block. This may be within a 5-minute experience or 5-minute conversation. Uh, One thing that comes to mind, I'm not sure if she's still here, but one of my students, I remember we were sitting down and just talking, explaining, and they may have lacked belief in their ability to solve a particular problem. But we just took it slow. We dissected it one sentence at a time. Just read one sentence at a time. Let's look to understand the components of the sentence. Do you understand that? What don't you understand? Oh, what does specify mean? Specify means to show. Or, I don't know what this means. Open up Google. Say the word, right? Say the word. I can't spell. Say the word. So we have these tools at our disposal. And I would say learning how to use these tools as a teacher shows me how I'm capable of teaching, while as a student, it shows a student how they're capable of learning. So I would say, because that's what I do day to day, that's probably the best story that I can use as an example. I'm sure there are other stories, but that's what comes to mind right now.
And I can even hear, even because I know that education is such a wide kind of umbrella. So one educator may be good at writing, like literally their handwriting is good.
Yeah,
There's nothing
yeah.
worse than excuse me if you
No,
if you fall in under
I
this.
actually, so it's funny you say that. I actually received compliments for my handwriting all the time. Like, whose writing is that? I receive compliments. I don't like to write though, because the reason why my handwriting is nice is because I write mad slow. So I'm very
God.
mindful of how I write. So, but now everything's virtual for me. That's a lot easier. And honestly, even students, like, it levels the playing field. So if we're all typing, it doesn't really matter how our handwriting looks. It just levels the playing field. So I'm all typing right
Well, I don't feel.
now.
I'm glad you said that because I don't
Yeah.
feel guilty about saying this thing.
Okay. Okay.
There's nothing worse. I remember from being in elementary school. When I got into adulthood, it was different because you can decipher handwriting a little more differently. But when I was in elementary school, and if you had a teacher who didn't have good handwriting, it was a challenge to
Yeah.
kind of learn because of
Yeah.
the handwriting. So there's different skill sets that make being an educator um, make it make you successful as an educator. But one thing that I hear that you do that I noticed how I would personally articulate it is that you have a skill set of breaking things down. You're
Yes.
able to make things plain for a wide variety of people. And that's something I struggle with. I struggle with, okay, how do I simplify this statement or simplify this thought or idea? And that's something that I struggle with even in production, even in music.
Yes.
How do I simplify the goal so that we can streamline our actions to get to that goal more smoothly?
Yes.
And I hear that as a talent of yours that you're able to break things down. We
Well,
need more people like you in the world, brother.
I would honestly say, and I appreciate that. I would honestly say you use the word talent. I would say it's a skill that I learned over time, right? Because
Hmm.
I wasn't just gifted with the talent and the ability to do what I do now. It was learned through experience and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And back to constantly becoming, I'm constantly looking for better ways to do things. I don't care like if there's something I'm extremely tenacious about, non-negotiable is me constantly looking for a better way to do something. Period. Like I'm not stopping if I feel that all right, we can refine it. Like we can refine it. We can refine it. Like I am just like dead set on making things better, just perfecting the craft, right? So that's extremely important to me. Extremely.
So I think that's a teachable moment that so that I have a typo there. What I meant to write is constantly look for better ways to do something, even if you're already good.
Yeah.
So even if you're already, like how you said, tenacious, you're already good, ambitious, confident in something, you're still like Beyonce, one of my favorite artists, once said, you have to always be a student. And that's
Yes.
one thing she's passionate about. She says that a lot of artists aren't, they don't like to be
Yes.
students, um, even of their own craft. They don't want to, go through the discipline of doing it better, doing it more, doing it simpler, taking it to another level, taking your tech to another level, your technologies to another level, take your knowledge um, to another level in the subject matter, taking your awareness of yourself to another level. There's always an opportunity to learn more. And I think that's the difference between, being good and being a mogul or an icon.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we all know that Beyonce is an icon. We know that, right? No arguments. No arguments accepted. So,
Beehive, beehive, beehive. Don't.
yes, I am Beehive as a person.
Yeah.
I am the Beehive as a single person. So, I wanted to also ask you. So, in Love is Love, like I said, Love is Love is all about my journey of learning from life and love. But can you highlight how life's lessons can improve our skill sets? How the lessons that we learn in life can make our skill sets better?
Yeah, reflection, experience. Like I just love the word experience. Like for me, like how we walk through life, every moment is an opportunity to, every moment is an experience, really. Every moment is an experience. And through that experience is an opportunity to learn, make a decision, and based on the decisions we make, we learn. Like everything, good or bad, evil, not evil, right? Like everything is the opportunity to learn and turn things around based on where we would like to go, you know? So that like it's all around us. It's all around us. It comes down to how we decide to look at it, right? Optimist, pessimist, cup half empty, half full, however we want to look at it, perspective, perception, like that's all important. How are we deciding to look at this experience we call life? And what do we want out of this experience we call life? That's the lesson in itself. It's every day, all around us.
So you mentioned that you're a songwriter as well. That you've also
I've
written.
I've written songs. I haven't written in years, but yes, I do have a small catalog of songs that I've written, mostly about love, like falling in love again, play your part, um, like yeah, together in love someday, right? So these are all from experiences when I was younger, different moments of my life where I I may have been consumed or someone may have been on my mind and like this love, it's love. So love inspires as well. A lover's ambition, right? The determination and will to succeed at what we love to do in life. So love comes in so many different forms. Of course, like a love for a career, a love for a person, family love, right? Love for a community. So these are all these are all the different facets of love. Ariam, what's up? Ariam, hope all is well in middle school.
So stop the presses. So the secret has been let out. The secret has been let out, and I want to thank IJ
Yeah,
underscore Rogers.
Isaiah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Isaiah. Thank you for letting the cat out the bag. I didn't know Aquaus played the piano. So, can you tell us, Aquaus? So your musicianship. I'm not gonna say just
Okay.
songwriter. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
musicianship. So how has life? Well, I'll put it. How has musicianship impacted your life as an educator? Has what you've put into pen and paper, and how you tickle the ivories, that craft, has that made you a sharper educator?
Tickle the ivories. I like that. I would say everything leading up to my life has made me a sharper educator. Everything leading up to my life, right? Even how I communicate, how I speak, me studying communication. I have a AFA in music. I don't even possess a piano right now. Like I sold everything. So that's another chapter that I'm sure I will revisit because I have recently started to build up a love for music and creativity within music recently. And yeah, like it's not just music, it's everything, just a passion for life. Me being an athlete, like going through that phase, right? Being inspired by Deion Sanders and seeing what he's done for JSU, seeing how he changes programs and shifts culture, right? Pharrell Williams. So these are all people that I have on record who inspire me, right? Why do they inspire me? Because in a way, I really connect with what they do and what they stand for, who they are as people. Leadership, coaching. You mentioned coachability. Like a lot of my presence in the classroom, I feel that if anything, I'm more of a coach than a teacher because I want to inspire performance and change, right? Inspire belief. It's not just teaching for me, it's more than just curriculum. It's how it's being delivered. Like even how I'm talking right now, like poetry in regards to cadence and delivery and word choice. Like that's what I'm about.
So I think that is important to our growth as human beings, like how you said, how you tie what you do at the piano, what you did in athletics. You tie all of life's experiences into what makes you a better educator. And I think um, I would imagine that would give you the ability to connect with a wider variety of students.
Yes, yes,
That your
yeah.
experiences, you don't just draw from one particular chapter, one particular skill set. You draw from a wide variety. You see everything as a learning opportunity, not just when you were a certain age,
Yeah.
not just or after you have a degree, but your entire experience, the full gamut of your life, has made you an educator.
Yeah.
I think that's important for us to all know. So if you're a songwriter, if you're a singer, if you're a rapper, if you're a poet, know that every aspect of your life, I call it sacred, I call it divine. It's the way that you become a teacher to yourself and to others about how your life is not only important, but how your life is brilliant. You use the word illuminate. Is that the word that you
Yes.
used?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
illumination.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I wanted to, we're almost at the end of our hour, but I wanted us to highlight another aspect. The first, I guess you could say, stanza in
Okay.
my song, I talk about my truth. And what I say is, I try to hide the truest part of me inside my pride and threw away the key.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us, especially Black people, especially creatives, especially queer people, um, even educators, we're taught to um, kind of suppress our
Yeah.
truth, our voice. And so I think even young people are taught to, that, you're young. What you have to say is not important.
Oh yeah.
Or you young people, you always doing this. Y'all need to go back to, we need to go back to
Yeah.
doing this. So we're always taught that our truth is not good enough.
Yeah.
Um, So I want to ask you, how can young people learn from life, even even though they are young? How can they learn from their own lives?
Okay.
Not just someone else's life, but their own life, even though they are young.
I mean, it's hard for me to answer that question because I'm not in their position now. It's a whole new world. Um, I want to make sure I'm addressing all questions too. So REM Roosevelt is good. Thank you for asking me that. Shout out to Teach for the Culture. Speaking of education, super dope platform. So everyone check out Teach for the Culture. And curiosity for me as a child has really informed who I am today. So curiosity is always a word that I feel, a word and an action that I feel is important for us to continue to engage in, because as long as we remain curious, we will remain open to discovering new things, right? Um, so that's one thing. And let's see, like it's our surroundings and environment. It's easy to succumb to our environment and be shut off and shut out. So again, that kind of goes back to curiosity and like just connecting with things that resonate with our soul, essentially. Like as children, like we're never too young to be spirited and soulful. I truly believe that. We are never too young to be spirited and soulful. So whatever connects with our soul, finding a way to follow that, as you mentioned, stay true to that, and I believe everything else will fall into alignment. Because when we follow a certain path, we connect with certain people who are also on that path. So that for me is really important. Like just spirited and soulful. As an athlete, as a musician, as an educator, it doesn't matter. Across the board, across any medium, like let's just stay spirited and soulful. So I would say, as I'm literally just thinking through your question, so that just came to mind. So I feel that's the most important, spirited and soulful.
And I think that is important, that young people know that you have a spirit and a soul.
Yeah.
that your life is not just to make, to just adhere to what older people say, or to just do this homework because teacher so-and-so said it.
Yeah.
To not, to just finish this math homework because Mr. Kelley said do it. Definitely do it if Mr. Kelley said do it. But
Check
it's
your
not.
grade book, because if you don't do it, you know what you're going to see in that grade book.
So take note from here that you know what you will see in that grade book if you don't do what Mr. Kelley says if he gives you a math assignment. But know that your life is beyond, all the things that society tells you that you have to do, or all these expectations that people place upon you, especially as a young person. Know that your life is not just what you see. Your life is also what is here. What is, like how you said, Aquaus, what resonates with you. I remember growing up, I'm so glad that I had, when I was a kid, my mama was grandma. My grandma was mama.
Yeah.
So I'm so blessed that mama for me, even as a kid, was someone who always asked me what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I always knew that I had a heart for music. I didn't go just by the fact that nobody else in my family was a musician. I didn't let that, be my guide, what other people said is the standard.
Yeah.
All my cousins were athletes. They played video games, and I loved all of that. I loved doing all that. But I noticed why a lot of times when they want to go outside and play basketball or go get dirty, sometimes I want to go do that. But most times I want to go inside, and I wanted to write something. I wanted to learn something. I wanted to read something.
Yeah.
I was always curious. And so I'm grateful that I had a parent that didn't like, you should be, or you don't do, or that didn't do that for me, because that helped me to see my soul and my heart and my spirit as sacred, mine, even at a young age. So if you too have an experience that is that way, be grateful for that educator in your life that's doing that. So if Mr. Kelley is your educator, be grateful for having an educator like that. Maybe you don't have that experience. I want you to know today, I want you to be confident in your own heart, and your own spirit, your own soul, as Aquaus has shared with us today. That whatever resonates with your heart is truly what you love, what you have a passion for. And like Aquaus said, love manifests in so many different ways. So as you tap into that truth, you become aware of your own abilities. You become more aware of your own spirit and soul. That creativity will help you not just write a love song, but be the love song.
Yeah.
You are a walking love song.
Yeah.
Whenever you learn your own abilities, like Aquaus has said. And I want to give you, Aquaus, the opportunity to, how can we support you? You're an educator, you're a co-host, you do so many different things to make the world better. How can we support you on your journey?
So I just want to amplify what you just said in regards to We Are the Love Song. I think that's literally the theme of this conversation. We are the love song. And it's great to interact with you digitally, because I know we've been really supporting one another over the last few years. You always have nothing but kind words to say, and that really means a lot to me. So it's great to be invited onto your platform. I thank you for this. It means a lot. And as you know, I always put out a lot of different kinds of content, and my mission is to really just inspire people and help people through sharing my experience. A lot of what I do, honestly, is self-talk. Like when I put something on IG, it's what I'm saying to myself. So I figured if this can help me, maybe it could help someone else. So anyone who's listening, if you see something, share it, like it, love it. Like, please amplify the message, because that's what we should be doing as a community, is sharing with others. So that's the only thing I have to share. I'm easy to find at Aquaus, AQUAUS, pretty much across social, YouTube. So thank you everyone for making the time to be here and just support what we're doing today.
And y'all,
Shout out
please
to my
make sure
brother
that you
too.
follow him. What was that?
Shout out to
Say that again.
my brother, the 360 Creative. That's my brother tapping in.
All right, what's up? I'm 360 Creative.
Yeah,
Thank you
live
for
show.
joining. Corey, thank you for joining. Teach for the Culture. Thank you. Looks like we had Star Kid 99. I feel like I messed up some of the names. Aria. Aria.
Aria. Yeah, Aria.
Yes.
It's one
Thank you
of
for
my
joining,
former
Aria.
students last year.
Isaiah, thank you for joining. For Lixon. I think I was misspelling or mispronouncing that. But Zellmiteas, thank you for joining. Thank you, Drews, for joining. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this conversation. And I want to encourage you, please go on to Aquaus's his link tree under his IG. His IG is Aquaus. Please go under there. He has a what's up? Just the Leo? Yeah, what's up, Just the Leo? We met up maybe about a month or two ago. Thank you for joining in. So Aquaus has his Linktree link under IG, his IG profile. So please go there. He has a lot of nuggets there for you to tap into. The Lover's Ambition Spotify, the Community Voices Live on Spotify.
Yeah, Community Voices is actually all on IG. So the Spotify is Love and Ambition. That's like my personal thing, just a digital diary. Community Voices at Community Voices Live on Instagram. That's where all of our content can be found. To date, we're currently in a phase of a new direction with Community Voices, so bringing it back in a new way. So that's a work in progress, but all of our videos and interviews to date can be found on Instagram.
That is awesome. So Community Voices, make sure you follow that on Instagram too.
Yeah.
Yes.
At Community Voices Live.
Yes. Please, please, please follow Community Voices Live on Instagram as well. Black Men Who Lead. You spoke on episode 52 on that. So make sure you watch all of those amazing episodes under his link tree. We want to support him, but most of all, he has a lot of wisdom to instill in all of us. He's an educator of not just the classroom, but life. So I encourage you to support and follow him for your own spiritual growth. And please also, you can listen to my song Love is Love on all streaming platforms. You can also watch the music video on YouTube. So please feel free to do that as well. And without further ado, did you have any other closing thoughts or maybe an encouraging message or word that you wanted to leave our viewers with, Aquaus?
That's it. Just appreciate life, enjoy the moment, and enjoy the weekend. I hope everyone a very impactful and productive week ahead. So just peace and love to everyone out there.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Aquaus, for your time, and thank you, viewers, for tuning in. And this concludes the Writing a Love Song series. This is the last episode, so you can definitely watch it from the very beginning after this live posts. So thanks again, and you be blessed. Keep writing.
Thank you.
Peace.
Take care, everyone. Peace.
You as well.